May peace be on all of you. Myself, Dr. Majid Khan, Associate Professor Loknete, Dr. J.D. Pawar College of Pharmacy, Kalwan, Nasik. I welcome all of you in this lecture 2 of anti-diabetic agent. So in this video, that is in lecture 2, we will cover oral hypoglycemic agent. Learning outcome: after completion of this topic, student able to classify oral hypoglycemic agent and mechanism of action of sulfonylurea derivative, able to draw the structure with mechanism and IUPAC name of bigonides, meglitinides, alpha glucosidase inhibitor and DPP4 inhibitors. So now let us start oral hypoglycemic agent. The classification of oral hypoglycemic agent. It is called as oral hypoglycemic agent because these drugs are given orally. Insulin given parenterally. So classification: first one is sulfonylurea derivative, example tolbutamide, glibenclamide, glipizide, chloropropamide. Bigonides: metformin, fenformin. Third one thiazolidinedione, rosiglitazone, pioglitazone. Alpha glucosidase inhibitor, example acaribose, oglibose. Then DPP4 inhibitor, sitagliptin, teneligliptin. Then SGLT2 inhibitor, that is sodium glucose transporter inhibitor, example empagliflozin, canagliflozin. And last one is meglitinides, example repaglinide and netiglinide. First oral hypoglycemic agent, that is sulfonylurea, which is important one. SAR of sulfonylurea. The discovery of sulfonylurea as the oral hypoglycemic agent was made accidentally. In 1942, it is observed that some sulfonamide prepared for antibacterial property caused hypoglycemia in experimental animals. One such compound was 5-isopropyl 2-sulfonylamido 1,3,4-thiadiazole. So it is the first compound of this category. This leads to synthesis of series of sulfonylurea and carbutamide. This one, carbutamide, become the first clinically useful sulfonylurea for treatment of diabetes. But this drug later withdrawn because of its adverse effect on bone marrow, but it provide the lead for the development of other useful drug. So it is a category of sulfonamide. Sulfonamide is an antibacterial agent. So accidentally this type of drug discovered, and it shows that this type of antibacterial drug show the hypoglycemic agent. So if we see the general structure of sulfonamide, so here there are two nitrogen. The nitrogen which is attached to SO2 group is called as N1 nitrogen, and other nitrogen which is attached to the fourth position of phenyl ring, that is called as N4 nitrogen. So it is a N1 nitrogen, this one is N4 nitrogen. So for antibacterial activity, it is important that N4 nitrogen should be unsubstituted. So it is an important point for antibacterial activity. So 4-amino group characterizes the bacteriostatic activity of all sulfonamide. So if we replace this amino group on fourth position by other substituent, then there is no antibacterial activity obtained, but it shows the hypoglycemic effect. So 4-amino group, which is a characteristic for the bacteriostatic activity of sulfonamide. If we replace this 4-amino group, then it does not show any antibacterial activity. The other nitrogen called as N1 nitrogen of urea moiety carried different types of substituent. So the sulfonylurea is divided into two types, that is first generation and second generation. So in case of first generation, example is tolbutamide, chloropropamide, tolazamide, acetohexamide. So these are the structure of first generation sulfonylurea derivative. So these are the important drug: tolazamide, chlorpropamide, tolbutamide, acetohexamide. Then second generation drug, which is more potent than the first generation, and structurally there is a elaboration on the benzene ring at the para position of phenyl sulfonyl moiety of first generation structure. So this type of second generation structure show big structure. Here there is a elaboration on benzene ring at the para position of phenyl sulfonyl moiety. Means here if we see here there is a big structure on para position as compared to first generation. Here there is a simple group. So if we see here, in case of first generation there is a simple group on the para position, simple group, but in case of second generation there is a elaboration on the para position of benzene ring. Therefore it is a big structure. Example, glibencalamide, glipizide, glymeperide. So these are the example of second generation of sulfonyl urea. Now if we see the SAR, so the first point, the benzene ring should contain one substituent, preferably in para position. Substituent enhance hypoglycemic activity like methyl amine, chloro, bromo, iodo, and trifluoromethyl group. So in case of sulfonylurea, there are two nitrogen. Nitrogen which is directly attached to benzene ring is called as fourth nitrogen. Or so here this nitrogen is replaced by other group. So there is a no antibacterial activity. So in case of SAR point, the benzene ring should contain one substituent, preferably in para position, and these substituents generally methyl amine, chloro, bromo, iodo, trifluoromethyl group, as we seen in the first generation type of drug. Second, the compound containing para beta aryl carboxamido ethyl group in bracket aromatic CONH CH2 CH2 substituent are more powerful than the first generation. So this type of substituent mainly present on the second generation sulfonylurea. So it is believed that high activity of this derivative is the function of a specific distance between the nitrogens. So as we see second generation, so here there is a two nitrogen, this one nitrogen, and here is a second nitrogen. So here there is a two nitrogen. So it is a distance between these two nitrogen is important. And second generation of compound contain this type of big structure that is called as beta aryl carboxamido ethyl group. Then next point, the group attached to terminal urea nitrogen should be certain size and should be impart lipophilicity. The N-methyl derivative are usually inactive, while N-ethyl derivatives show low activity. Optimal activity is usually found in compound containing 3 to 6 carbon in N substituent, while activity is lost if N substituent contain 12 or more carbon. Some compound contain alicyclic ring, that is 5, 6, 7 member ring on terminal nitrogen, such as in case of tolazimide. So here there is a, so this last point, third point, is related to this nitrogen. So related to urea nitrogen. So here there is a urea nitrogen. So this third point of SAR is related to urea nitrogen. So here there is a, if there is a 3 to 6 carbon attached to this urea nitrogen, compound show optimum activity. But if it is attached to 12 carbon or more carbon, then a compound is less active. Sometime there is a 5, 6, 7 member ring is also attached. The example is tolazimide. So here this urea nitrogen is attached to 7 member ring. So it is the SAR of sulfonylurea derivative. Now mechanism of action. So here normally beta isolate cell releases insulin in response to sufficiently elevated blood glucose concentration, that is glucose catabolism or glycolysis within the cell, increases the ATP-ADP concentration ratio, thereby increasing the chances that the ATP rather than ADP will be bound to specific adenosine nucleoside binding site on sulfonylurea receptor, which is a subunit of ATP sensitive potassium channel, which is in turn favor the channel closure, increase the potassium channel closure, trap the greater portion of potassium within the cell, rendering depolarization, which favor calcium channel opening, allowing calcium to flow into the cell, which causes insulin exocytosis, and insulin reduce the glucose level. So here normally when we eat a more carbohydrate, so here there is a increase the ratio of ATP ADP concentration ratio is increases. Normally when we eat more carbohydrate in diet, so normally ATP ADP concentration ratio increases, and therefore ATP rather than ADP bind to adenosine nucleotide binding site. So it is a binding site, adenosine nucleoside binding site on sulfonylurea receptor, SUR. It is a sulfonylurea receptor, and this sulfonylurea receptor having potassium channel, which is called as ATP sensitive potassium channel. So it is a ATP sensitive potassium channel, and which causes the closing of potassium channel, due to which more potassium trapped inside the cell, which causes depolarization, and due to this depolarization calcium channel open, and there is an entry of this calcium, and which causes insulin release. So it is the normal how insulin is released when we eat the more carbohydrate in diet. So again, when we eat the more carbohydrate, then the ratio of ATP and ADP is increases, due to which ATP bind to adenosine nucleotide binding site on sulfonylurea receptor subunit of ATP sensitive potassium channel, which in turn favor the potassium channel closure, which causes trapment of potassium within the cell. Therefore it is causes the depolarization, which leads to opening of calcium channel, and therefore more calcium enter into the cell, which causes insulin release. So it is a normal process how insulin is released, and then insulin decrease the blood glucose level. So it is a normal physiology. So our drug, that is sulfonylurea and glidinides, mimic the ATP ADP situation, which would result from elevated blood glucose concentration. So our drug, that is sulfonylurea derivative, it simply bind to their receptor called as sulfonylurea receptor, SUR. It is a sulfonylurea receptor. So sulfonylurea drug bind to sulfonylurea receptor, causes closing of potassium channel, due to which depolarization taken place, calcium channel open, calcium entry, then there is a release of insulin, and which decrease the blood glucose level. So in short, sulfonylurea just mimic the normal situation. So sulfonylurea derivative bind to sulfonylurea receptor, causes closing of potassium channel, due to which more potassium trapped within the cell, causes depolarization, and there is a calcium channel opening, calcium enter into the cell, which causes the release of insulin, which decrease the blood glucose level. Therefore sulfonylurea to act, the beta cell must in function. Hence these drug only used in type 2 diabetes but not in type 1. So it is about the mechanism of action of sulfonylurea derivative. Second class, that is bigonides. So these are the example: metformin, fenformin. These are the example of bigonides. So if we see the mechanism, so these drugs inhibit the hepatic glucose production. Bigonides mechanism not clear, although it is sometimes classified as an inhibitor of hepatic glucose production. Its effect does not depend on presence of functioning of beta cell, nor on the secretion of insulin, and drug does not induce hypoglycemia. For that reason, it is said to be anti-hyperglycemic rather than hypoglycemic. So here there is a difference between anti-hyperglycemic and hypoglycemic. Anti-hyperglycemic agent means these are the agent which decrease the elevated glucose level up to the normal, and hypoglycemic agent means these are the drug which decrease the blood glucose level below the normal. So overall drug improve the insulin sensitivity by increasing peripheral glucose uptake and utilization. It reduces hepatic glucose production and reduces gluconeogenesis. It decreases intestinal absorption of glucose and reduces serum lipids. So these are the main effect of bigonides. Example of this class: metformin, fenformin, buformin. Then next class, that is meglitinides. Regarding their mechanism, it is same as sulfonylurea. It also act on the sulfonylurea receptor, causing potassium channel closure, which causes the trapment of potassium, therefore causes depolarization, calcium channel opening, calcium entry, insulin release. Example: rapinilide. So it is the structure of rapinilide, IUPAC. Numbering is shown in structure. So here according to benzoic acid, so it is a benzoic acid. So here 2-ethoxy. So here on second position there is a ethoxy group, 2-ethoxy. Then on fourth position, so here is a fourth position. Again there is a 2 means this 2. 3-methyl. So here there is a 3-methyl. This one is 3-methyl. 1,2-piperidine. So here there is a 1 on one position phenyl ring, and then piperidine ring is attached. Therefore piperidine 1-ylphenyl. Butyl amino, there are 4 carbon with amino group. Butyl amino. 2-oxo. So here there is a 2-oxo ethyl benzoic acid. So IUPAC name 2-ethoxy, 4,2,3-methyl, 1,2-piperidine, 1-ylphenyl butyl amino, 2-oxoethyl benzoic acid. It is an oral medication used in addition to diet and exercise for blood sugar control in type 2 diabetes mellitus. Next drug of this category, nateglinide. So it is a structure with numbering. So IUPAC propionic acid. So according to this propionic acid, 3 carbon with acid function. So here on second position, then on fourth position of phenyl ring there is a isopropyl group. So 2,4-isopropyl, cyclohexane ring, carboxamide, that is carbonyl group. Then on third position here there is a phenyl ring, and basic is propionic acid. Same use like first drug. So it is the example of meglitinides. Then next drug is that is called as alpha glucosidase inhibitor. These drugs slow down breakdown of polysaccharide and disaccharide, especially starch and sucrose, into monosaccharide in GIT, delaying the production and thereby absorption of glucose following consumption of meal. So as name indicate, alpha glucosidase. So these are the enzyme alpha glucosidase. So glucosidase enzyme consists of glycoamylase, sucrase, maltase, dextronase. So it is a combination of 4. This enzyme, that is alpha glucosidase. Alpha glucosidase is a combination of glycoamylase, sucrase, maltase, and dextronase. The digestion of amylase and amylopectin. So these drugs generally slow down the breakdown of polysaccharide into disaccharide and monosaccharide. So generally polysaccharide means starch and sucrose. So these drugs mainly affect the starch and sucrose. So as we know, starch is consist of 2 parts, that is amylase and amylopectin. So these enzyme, that is alpha glucosidase enzyme, causes the digestion of amylase and amylopectin form of starch, begin with reaction catalyzed by glucoamylase, and this glucoamylase act on alpha 1,4 linkage and alpha 1,6 linkage of amylase and amylopectin respectively to form glucose. So in case of starch, as we know, starch composed of two, that is amylose and amylopectin. So it is a structure of amylose, which is a part of starch. Sorry. So it is a starch part. It contains amylose and this one is amylopectin. So amylase is a straight compound. So here it is called as a 1,4 linkage, alpha 1,4 linkage. Amylopectin, it is a branched form of starch. So it contains 1,4 linkage as well as 1,6 linkage, alpha 1,6 linkage. So this enzyme, that is glucoamylase, digest these two on and act on this linkage, that is alpha 1,4 and alpha 1,6, and it convert this starch into mono and disaccharides. So our drug, as name indicate, these are the drug which inhibit this alpha glucosidase enzyme. Thereby there is a no conversion of starch into glucose. So in case of, in short, this drug slow down the breakdown of polysaccharides. So mainly the polysaccharide is starch and sucrose. So starch consists of two parts, that is amylose and amylopectin. Amylose is straight chain, amylopectin is branched. So in case of amylose, there is a 1,4 linkage. In case of amylopectin, 1,4 and 1,6 linkage is there. So normally this converted into glucose by the enzyme glucoamylase. So our drug inhibit this enzyme glucoamylase, therefore slow down the conversion of starch into monosaccharides. Similarly, in case of sucrase enzyme catalyzes the hydrolysis of sucrose into fructose and glucose. So here again, here there is a linkage. So here is a sucrose molecule. Here is a 1,4 linkage. It is a 1,4 linkage. So sucrose converted into glucose and fructose by the enzyme sucrase. So our drug, that is alpha glucosidase inhibitor, simply inhibit this sucrase enzyme, therefore prevent the or slow down the conversion of sucrose into glucose. So by this way, these drugs act as a anti-diabetic. Example of this category of this drug is, first one is Oglibose. So it is a alpha glucosidase inhibitor. So it is a structure of Oglibose with numbering. So if we see the IUPAC, on 5th position there is a 1,3-dihydroxypropane 2-il amino. On 1 position there is a hydroxymethyl group, then cyclohexane, then 1, 2, 3, 4 tetraol. So there are 4 hydroxyl group totally, 1, 2, 3 and 4, that is called as tetraol. So IUPAC name 5,1,3-dihydroxypropane 2-il amino, 1 hydroxymethyl cyclohexane 1, 2, 3, 4 tetraol. Uses, it is used for lowering the postprandial blood glucose level. Postprandial means after the meal. In people with diabetes mellitus, Oglibose delay the absorption of glucose, thereby reducing the risk of macrovascular complication. Postprandial hyperglycemia, that is after meal there is an increase in sugar level, it is called as postprandial hyperglycemia, is primarily due to first phase insulin secretion. Alpha glucosidase inhibitor delay glucose absorption at the intestine level and thereby prevent sudden surge of glucose after meal. Then second drug of this category, Acaribose. It is a naturally occurring oligosaccharide which is obtained from microorganism Actinoplane euthahensis. It has high affinity for alpha glucosidase enzyme due to its oligosaccharide in nature. So the structure of this drug is similar to oligosaccharides. So these drugs also inhibit the enzyme alpha glucosidase enzyme, thereby prevent the formation of glucose. The next category, that is DPP4 inhibitor. DPP means dipeptidyl peptidase. Dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitor. So here incretin are a group of metabolic hormone that stimulate decrease in blood glucose level. Incretin are released after eating and augment the secretion of insulin. Augment means sudden increase in the secretion of insulin release from pancreatic beta cell of the isolate of Langerhans by blood glucose dependent mechanism. So incretin is a hormone which stimulate the insulin, which decrease the blood glucose level. So incretin, there are two main incretin. First one is GLP-1, that is called as glucogen like peptide. GLP-1 also inhibit glucogen release from the alpha cell of isolate of Langerhans. In addition, they slow rate of absorption of nutrient into the bloodstream by reducing gastric emptying and may directly reduce the food intake. The two main candidate molecules that fulfill the criteria for incretin are intestinal peptides, glucogen-like peptide called as GLP-1, and second one is gastric inhibitory peptide, that is GIP, also known as glucose-dependent insulin-tropic polypeptide. Both GLP and GIP are rapidly inactivated by the enzyme DPP4. So this drug, so here when there is a incretin, example of incretin is GLP and GIP. So this incretin, so GLP means that is glucogen like peptide first, and GIP means gastric inhibitory peptide. So this incretin causes release of insulin, and then this insulin reduce the blood glucose level. So the enzyme that is called as DPP4, this DPP4 deactivate this incretin, therefore there is a no release of insulin and there is a no blood sugar level decreases. So these drugs simply inhibit this enzyme. So our drug that is called as DPP inhibitor. So when this DPP inhibitor inhibit this DPP4, there is a more secretion of GLP and GIP, therefore more stimulation or insulin release, which causes lower in blood pressure. So in summary, incretin, example GLP-1, GIP, it causes insulin secretion, which causes the lowering blood glucose level. The enzyme DPP4, that is dipeptidase DPP4, inactivate this incretin, therefore decrease the insulin level, and therefore it causes the increase in glucose level. So our drug, as name indicate, DPP4 inhibitor. So this drug inhibit this DPP4 enzyme, therefore prevent the inactivation of incretin, which causes release of insulin, and therefore the blood glucose level decreases. So it is the mechanism of action of this drug. Now example of this category, that is sitagliptin. So it is a structure of sitagliptin with a numbering IUPAC name 4-oxo. So it is a 4-oxo, 3 trifluoromethyl 5,6 dihydrotriazolo. So here 4 means this 4-oxo, again 4 means this 4, 3 trifluoro means this 3 trifluoromethyl, 5,6 dihydrotriazoles, pyrazine. So it is a pyrazine and triazole. 7-eel means 7-eel attachment. 1 means here there is a 1. 2, 4, 5 trifluoro. So on second, 4 and 5 position fluorine group, trifluorophenyl. Butane means there are 4 carbon. 2 amine, second position amine. So it is the IUPAC name. Uses of this drug: by preventing the breakdown of GLP-1 and GIP, they are able to increase the secretion of insulin and suppress the release of glucagon by the alpha cell of pancreas. This drives the blood glucose level towards the normal. As the blood glucose level approaches normal, the amount of insulin released and glucagon suppressed diminished, thus tending to prevent overshoot and subsequent low blood sugar, that is hypoglycemia, which is seen with some other oral hypoglycemic agent. It is slightly less effective than metformin when used as a monotherapy. It does not cause weight gain and has less hypoglycemic compared to sulfonylurea. Sitagliptin is recommended as a second-line drug in combination with other drug after the combination of diet, exercise and metformin fails. Next drug of this category, tenagliptin. So it is a structure of tenagliptin. So here there is a methanol. Methanol means this carbonyl called as methanol. So 4,3-methyl. So here there is a 4,3-methyl. So 4 means 1, 2, this 3 and this 4. First 4. So here 4 means this 4. Sorry, this 4. Then again 4 means this 4. 3-methyl. So here there is a methyl group on third position, methyl. 1-phenyl means this 1-phenyl. Then pyrazole. So it is a pyrazole ring. 5-eel 1-piperazine pyrrolidine. 2-eel 1,3-thiazolidine. 3-eel methanol. Uses: since September 2012, tenagliptin has been commercially sold in Japan and has been used for treatment of type 2 diabetes mellitus when patients do not show sufficient improvement after diet control and exercise, or a combination of diet control, exercise and sulfonylurea or thiazolidine class drug. In adult, 20 mg of tenagliptin may be orally administered once daily. If the dosage is insufficient, the dosage is increased to 40 mg once daily. Then last class of oral hypoglycemic agent is SGLT2 inhibitor, that is sodium glucose co-transporters inhibitor. So this SGLTs are the protein that occur preliminary in the kidney and play an important role in maintaining glucose balance in the blood. There are two SGLT, that is SGLT1 and SGLT2, that is sodium glucose co-transporter, are the two most known SGLTs of the family. SGL2 is a major transporter protein and promote reabsorption from the glomerular filtration glucose back into the circulation and is responsible for approximately 90% of the kidney glucose reabsorption. SGL2 is mainly expressed in kidney on the epithelial cell lining and the first segment of proximal convoluted tubule. So as we know, in case of nephron, after filtration, that is after glomerular filtration, the fluid come into the lumen where the 90% of sugar is absorbed, glucose, 90% glucose is reabsorbed by the kidney. So for this reabsorption, this transporter is required, that is called as sodium glucose transporter. So it is two types, SGLT1 and SGLT2. So this SGLT is responsible for 90% of glucose reabsorption from the urine into the blood. So our drug, as name indicates, these drug inhibit this co-transporter. Therefore, it inhibits the reabsorption of glucose into the blood and it causes the loss of glucose in urine. So it is the mechanism of action of this type of drug. So in short, SGLT, that is sodium glucose co-transporter, responsible for reabsorption of glucose after glomerular filtration, and this SGLT causes the 90% reabsorption of glucose from the filtrate into the bloodstream. So our drug inhibit this co-transporter, thereby preventing the glucose reabsorption, and there is a less reabsorption of glucose and glucose excreted through the urine. Example of this category of drug, empagliflozin. So it is a empagliflozin, numbering is given. So here 5, I have picked name 5,4-chloro, 3,4-ethoxybenzyl phenyl, 1-hydroxymethyl 6,8-dioxobicyclooctane, 2,3,4-triol. So here 5 means this 5, 4-chloro means this 4-chloro, 3,4-ethoxy. So here 3,4-ethoxy. So here 3. This one is 4-ethoxy. Phenyl means this phenyl ring. 1-hydroxymethyl. So here there is a 1-hydroxymethyl. 6,8-dioxo. So here there is a 6 and 8. There is a oxygen 6 and 8 position. Dioxo bicyclo 2 cycle octane. Total number of 8 carbon. Octane with octane 2,3,4-triol. On 2, 3rd and 4th position there is a hydroxyl group, that is triol. Uses, it is used in combination with proper diet and exercise to help people with type 2 diabetes lower their blood glucose level. It can be used alongside other medication for type 2 diabetes such as metformin, sulfonylurea and insulin. Sorry. Next drug of this category, canagliflozin. So it is a structure with a numbering. So here I picked 2. So here 2, this 2. Then 3, 5. So it is a 3. Then it is 5. 3, 5. 4-fluorophenyl. So on 4th position fluoro. Then this one is phenyl. Thiophene. That is a thiophene structure. 2-eel-methyl. So here 2-eel and this one is methyl. Phenyl 6-hydroxymethyl tetrahydropyran 3,4,5-triol. So it is a IUPAC name. Uses, it is indicated to be used with diet and exercise to lower blood glucose in adults with type 2 diabetes, to reduce the risk of major heart related events such as heart attack, stroke, death in people with type 2 diabetes who have known heart disease, and to reduce the risk of end stage kidney disease, worsening of kidney function, heart related death, and being hospitalized for heart failure in certain people with type 2 diabetes and diabetic kidney disease. It is the 3rd line medication to metformin. So it is about the oral hypoglycemic agent. So if you like the video, then subscribe the channel. Thank you very much.